Alright, it's time for more Phoenix Wright 3. We're still in the stolen turnabout case. Part 4-1, the trial. We're currently cross-examining Ron. When I entered the office, there was a suspicious shadow in him. We haven't had a chance to start pressing him because he just amended his testimony, so we'll do that now. Who was the suspicious shadow? If there were 1,000 of me, and if even one knew, I'd tell you. You have frequently hostile defendants. Mr. Bullard is the CEO that got killed at the same time as the theft. How was he? Was he already dead? Yes, he got hit over the head, apparently. Probably by Mask to Mask, Luke Adney. That's a good question. What do you think, Mr. Wright? Suddenly I was hit on the forehead. After that I remember being a bit dazed. Yeah, especially when they're your own clients, exactly. Your forehead? It was an amazingly fast and powerful attack. Fast and powerful hit, and I was dazed for a while. He grasped what you were asking? I like to show him a fast and powerful attack myself.
Hold it!
If I hadn't been wearing that, I would have been killed. Yeah, can you please clarify what that was? For a second, I'm like, did I not read the previous line? My Mask to Mask costume, of course. Wait just a moment. Mask to Mask? The judge has been unusually competent in this trial, so I'm interested if that's gonna carry on. Oh no, Uber. Hope your neck pains recover. The judge has let out a full-on Nani. Did you know about this, Nick? He never told me this. Always asking questions we don't know the answer to. Even I didn't know that. Heard a chance to mention it until now. Sometimes just things slip your mind. No, I don't know how that is. My 6th cup of coffee is staring up at me coldly. Okay, Godot. Witness, please correct your testimony. Okay, let's press on that again, presumably. Why were you dressed up as Mask to Mask? Why? Because I'm Mask to Mask, of course. The Mask to Mask trial is being held next door by a different, presumably more competent judge. But I was being blackmailed over the Mask to Mask issue. I thought I should go as him just to be safe. It's a real pain to move around with that cape. That's why it took longer than I expected. Yeah, we should press harder. Oh no. I mean, I think it's pretty common for lay people to have a skeptical reaction of Phoenix Wright. Like, it's very cartoony and abstracted. Oh, opening the safe, of course. Cape got caught in the safe door. This all happened when I was hiding Mr. Bullard's body. I'd say Phoenix Wright is as about a realistic look at courtroom drama as Super Mario Bros. Is a look at plumbing. You were the one that hit the body in the safe? Inconceivable. Gotta get my Wallace Shawn in here to play the judge. Fake beard. What reason could you have? What were you thinking? Could tell. When does someone toss their dirty shorts in the washing machine? The answer is simple. When they take them off. Judge. As usual, I have no idea what you're saying. This metaphor was really obscure, was it, though? Oh, I absolutely knew about the safe business, of course. Add this to the testimony, too. Hey, Skull, how you doing? Took about 10 minutes, when he's specifying a time here. Why did you hide the body in the safe anyway? Wouldn't fit in a drawer. Oh, Jesus. I saw the corpse, I kind of lost it. They find his corpse, they'll think I did it. Simpler reason than that. 10 minutes? Just had a thought. Under those circumstances, would you normally try to hide the body and spend 10 whole minutes to do it? I love the quoted those circumstances. Present evidence that would show just what those circumstances were. Okay. I have to do the final line too. Okay, took about 10 minutes. This stuff is not relevant. Autopsy. Emerging from blunt trauma to the head. This is where we saw the picture of him in the photo. The real mask to mask. Buzzer. Didn't we hear the buzzer going off though? Wasn't that a thing? Let me try that.
Can I come hang out?
What's up?
Can I come hang out?
Sure. This game is super text heavy though, so it's...
Got it. Okay. While you're... Can I...
Yeah.
Okay, guess what?
What?
There's new episodes up on Netflix.
What?
Better Call Saul.
Oh, nice. We should catch up.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't watched it in a while.
I'm an adult and I have a snow day. Fuck yeah.
And your
The lab is closed.
green screen apparently doesn't like what you're wearing, or really
I'm
likes what
wearing
you're
a blue robe. Hey everybody, I'm Andrea. I'm Dylan's wife. I'm a physicist at Los Alamos National Lab, and it snowed here, so they closed the lab, which means I get a motherfucking snow day.
The buzzer was going off at the time he was in there, wasn't it? So I think we want to present this.
Alright, what's this game?
Objection!
Objection!
Oh, it's Phoenix Wright!
Please take a look at this record. This is the record for the emergency buzzer that connects the CEO's office to security. The button in the office is pressed, the security team is supposed to come running. The buzzer was pushed once at 1:02 a.m.
I put on the hood, do I go completely?
Rondelite was truly the murderer. Would have ran as soon as the buzzer sounded.
Objection!
This guy's the
What is he
prosecutor.
wearing on his face?
He's the prosecutor. This is his first case.
Yeah, is this like their costume?
He really likes, Godot really likes coffee. I had no idea there were security personnel in the building. Yeah, that's not true. He worked there.
Objection!
Oh, he pissed.
The guard never came. That's because it was butts.
Objection!
No way of knowing that Larry Butts
He's
was
literally
incompetent.
steaming. With
He's got some great react. You play this game for the reaction animations for the characters, the breakdowns. You should see some of his coffee graphics.
Objection!
Didn't notice the buzzer going off. Well, we just keep objecting back and forth to it.
I was like, and the judge never sustains or over.
Oh no, the judge is an idiot in this game.
It's just basically like, I want to talk, so I'm going to say
You
objection.
should play these games. I got it on the 3DS. You guys played upstairs. Interior theory. Call the defendant's testimony. The moment he entered the victim's office, someone attacked him. Wright said he felt dazed.
I'm confused.
Later, he was knocked unconscious for at least a few minutes. Fainted?
Is there a jury?
No, it's a judge trial. This game takes place in America. Everyone goes down to the local, like, Spirit Medium Cafe in order to eat hamburgers. It's clearly in Japan, but for some reason the localization is pretending like it's in the US.
Okay.
The main reason her lab declares snow days is because people try to commute from Santa Fe and it's a long, dangerous
Well,
climb
and from up in the
mesa.
mountains,
Yeah.
which is even more dangerous. So they get lots more snow.
Unless my client was able to hit the buzzer while he was unconscious, it only mean there was another person in that room. Whoever it was knocked out Rondolite and pressed the buzzer. Sacre Tokyo.
Objection!
This is preposterous.
Objection!
Jesus Christ!
I feel like their use of the word objection is like Kojima's use of the word deterrence, or what was that?
I feel like if you
Premonition's
wanted
use
to
of the word
get
profile.
like wasted, you could watch this game and drink whenever they say objection.
Yeah. The victim pressed the buzzer when the defendant attacked him. He didn't die right away. He must have held on long enough to push the button. Kane Ballard's on the buzzer himself. I mean, Judge... Okay, fine. There's no fingerprints on it. I need to prove the real criminal was there at the scene. I don't think I'm ready yet. No, it's unloadedly Taylor. Ron's testimony. Sacred Urn. Newspaper clipping. I think this is another case where I can just be... I can gamify it. If I'm not ready yet and that's the right answer, there are fewer... Like, if it's wrong, it's completely wrong. If I say I can prove it, then I have to then pick the right evidence option.
Right.
So. There's no evidence to the contrary. It's possible the victim himself sounded the buzzer. Possible, more like definite, Mr. Trite. Victim and his killer, Mr. Delight. Oh, nope, that was the wrong answer. Piece of evidence proves that it wasn't the victim who sounded the buzzer. Probably not. No fingerprints on it, right? Yeah, because we assume that he... Does the autopsy report mention that he's... unforced trauma of the head? It's gotta be the lack of fingerprints, right? Body was found in the safe. Let's try this. Take that!
Take that!
Hey, the music cut out. This is the piece of incontrovertible evidence you were looking for. The emergency buzzer? Is there some kind of clue on it? Absolutely not. The fact that there are no clues is itself the clue.
Oh.
Because if the victim had pressed the button, his fingerprint would be on it. No, I'm the one who's clueless. button has no fingerprints on it. Mr. Ballard had really pressed it himself, and naturally he would have left his fingerprints behind. I don't think we've seen the spit coffee reaction too many times. Ron obviously wiped them off.
Objection!
Defendant Mr. Delight was dressed as mask to mask. Famous thief. Always wears gloves. What reason could he have possibly had to wipe the button for your fingerprints? QED. The real killer was there at the scene. Why would that person press the emergency buzzer? To frame Ron, right? No, the judge is asking relevant questions for once. I can just turn off the green screen.
I'm sorry. I can leave.
No, you don't have to leave. I usually don't have any green in the frame, just Andrea's favorite colors
It's
are...
blue!
Benedict! Hey, what are you doing? I child locked that so you can't get in there. Psst. Hey, get down. The real culprit killed Mr. Ballard at 1 a.m. She can see it. Right, you could see the webcam effect earlier.
Yeah, it was all sparkly.
The security was supposed to respond right away if the buzzer was pressed, but he didn't because it was Larry Butts. Hey! Psst. I don't have my spray bottle because you knocked it over, but I will threaten you with this cleaning spray, and hopefully you run away. He's calling my bluff.
Yeah, he is.
He is becoming resilient to getting spritzed. He's getting to the point where he just doesn't care. He's just like,
whatever,
fine,
it's just
spray
water,
me.
it dries.
Why did the real killer sound the emergency buzzer? Call the security guard. They knew if they pressed the button, the guard would come running. That was exactly what they wanted. Then Larry shows up, exactly. What a touching story. No, he's... Come on, Godot. Don't be deliberately obtuse. Buzzer sounded there were 3 people in the office. The victim, Kane Ballard, who was already dead. The defendant, Ron Delight, who was out cold. And the third person, who completely looks like Luke Adney. Situation, if the real killer made an escape, what would happen? The only ones left in the room would be the victim and Ron Delight. We got there.
Alright.
Just trying to frame Ron. Deliberately obtuse isn't the job description of a prosecutor in this universe. Who was it that tried to frame me? I'm the one and only mask to mask, so come on, it's Luke Adney, let's go. Although I say you should play these games, I feel like this would frustrate you. That if you're ahead of the logic the game wants you to be at, it makes you go through all the steps to get there.
Oh.
Yeah. But I've had a sense of what's going on for a while. Killer knew Mr. Delight's identity, and they also knew that he had been called to keep security. The killer used him to execute a well-crafted plan to murder Cain Ballard. Took the drink just so he could spit take. It was Luke at me. Take that.
Take that!
The only one who could have done it. The ace detective. Get it? His name's Luke at me.
Oh.
Get it? It's fun.
Yes. And he's wearing a mask. On half his face.
True murderer of Cain Ballard. Sure, explain yourself. Theft and murder, which is the more serious crime? Thanks, Judge. They're not even close. Murder is the more serious crime. I wonder how much time you spent in law school to know that. That's Luke at me. He's like a detective, but he was actually the thief.
Oh.
And he like decided to be the detective and the thief so that he could crack his own cases. Instead of being convicted of murder, he was found guilty of grand larceny. That was his true objective all along. He had the perfect alibi for when the murder took place. Right, because, okay. Now this is where we were a couple hours ago. Basically sent Ron there dressed as him so it would look like he wasn't there doing the murder. A guilty verdict as an alibi? The judge seems outraged. It's almost time for Luke Abney's verdict. It's a simple trial. If we're going to stop this trial and install that one, we need to do it now. Assuming you have proved the detective was the one who committed the murder. Am I really sure about this? I bet it's only good when your life's the ante. What, Ron? I'm just leaning right out of frame. Fixing. Hey, LitFX, how you doing? Can I really risk your life like this? I don't think I've heard from her all of Case. I don't think she showed up in the first one. My assistant Maya, the sister of Mia, who died in the very first Phoenix Wright, has the completely American, totally normal Buddhist ability to temporarily channel the spirit of her dead big sister.
Oh,
and
cool.
when she does, she gets big honkers like her sister. That's how you know. But this time, he's just remembering her words instead of her like literally transforming into it, which is more reasonable. "20-minute recess." Alright, so we're gonna go run into the other courtroom and interrupt it. Is that gonna happen off screen? Hey, this guy. I really, really liked the first case of this game. It was pretty brilliant. He's like the novice prosecutor. Oh wow, it's another judge. I love this guy.
Hold it!
Don't hand down your verdict yet. Who's this hoser? Hey, he's supposed to be Canadian? Alright, so, like, what's the localization then? If in the West we're localizing him as Canadian, is he supposed to be like an American judge in the Japanese version? My name is Phoenix Wright, attorney at law. I wish to file an accusation against this man. A socket, maybe? What's the region that's like kind of like the hick region of Japan? I thought that was Osaka. Nani? We haven't seen a complete breakdown of Look at Me yet. We've seen a couple like mini breakdown animations. Hopefully we see that judge again. Could have sworn I heard Mia's voice. I mean, sure. I also just remembered her. She is the wife of my client, the defendant. Her role in this case is extremely suspicious so far. Why would Detective Abby want to kill the CEO? Because he didn't get blackmailed. Do we get an investigation phase during the recess?
I mean, 20 minutes is kind of a long time.
Oh, no. How do you do, Lawyer Sama? Even the great Luke at me has no idea what you mean. To remind us that he's in this other trial being tried for the theft of the urn. Continue to insist that you are, in fact, mask to mask. October 12th at 1 a.m., Kane Ballard was murdered. Where were you at that time? One without knowledge lacks even the knowledge that he should be ashamed of himself. Okay. I will not hold it against you, Sir Judge. So who is Godot is... One of the things about the Phoenix Wright universe is you don't have to just introduce reasonable doubt that your client committed any crimes. You have to prove beyond a doubt who did it. But now the question is, like, aren't Godot and I doing the same thing? I assume Ron is still on trial and he's been brought in here as a character witness. Or not a character witness, but as a... just to rule out the defense's theory. Stealing the urn is mask to mask, just as I announced I would. More than enough time to prepare. It was a pathetically easy job. The photograph contains no words, but in this case, one turned out to be my witness. He doesn't have the Phanto badge there. Brooch. The time in which the camera captured mask to mask was the same time as the murder. The main point of this discussion will be this photo of the crime scene. Even the great mask to mask cannot be in two places at once.
Hold it!
He's trying to say you're full of it, Nick. photograph as proof. And in the photo is certainly wearing a mask. That is why I'm called Mask to Mask. Thanks, man. Conveniently, that means there's no way to tell who this really is. Well, it could be an accomplice. It could also be Ron tricked into doing it. Yeah, okay.
Could be the wife. She'd have access to the clothes.
Right. I don't have any proof, just a suspicion, because there's no other characters that would make sense in this case. Nope, that was wrong. Quite the prank you're trying to pull. Do you have any evidence that this person is in fact the accomplice? The aura that this person has around them. Okay, Judge. I guess auras aren't allowed in the courtroom, but like, spirit medium, testimony, and parrots are. It's a pathetically easy job. Sent the calling card to Lordly Taylor 10 days before the heist. That would mean you sent out the card after you began your security watch, right? Evil's what I am. Detective Abney was always proud of his ace detective skills, but if the urn was stolen from Lordly Taylor while he was the only one watching it, he'd have no way to maintain his perfect ace detective persona.
Hold it!
So by photograph, you mean this piece of evidence here, is that right? It's the very thing that proved that I committed the crime. You say that almost if you had this picture taken on purpose. We all have days like that. Okay, good job. Gotta be something phony in the photo. I think it's the lack of brooch.
Hold it!
I think I altered the timestamp on the photograph. He could. He did have the computer. Okay. Picture hasn't been altered. Either the mask to mask and the photo is a fake, or the photo itself is. Okay, so let me look at my camera data. Went off once at 1 AM on the night of the crime. Oh, 58:43. Guess I don't see the paint on the box, right? I think. Even though we can see that the paint is clearly already in the picture. Stain in the back there. Let me try presenting the box, hopefully that doesn't get me in trouble.
Objection!
Nope, nope, music's still playing, I'm in trouble. Yeah, I'm gonna have to save here, it's about to be game over. Let me see if it lets me cheese it. I had to do this once before, maybe a couple times before in the second game.
Objection!
Witness's statement is clearly faulty. Damn. I mean, there's also the issue of the brooch being missing, but we already brought that up in the first part of the trial. What about the brooch? And once I game over, I guess I'll just reload.
Objection!
No, I think we're in trouble again. Shit. Do not save. I guess I'll accept some help from chat on this one. Like, I don't think I'm supposed to show that he had an accomplice, because I don't think that really jives with it being, I mean, unless if the game wants me to step through some logic early with it being Ron, because we know that he's worked with Ron before, but the whole point is that Ron was actually at the building at that time trying to talk to the CEO. So it's got to be either a third person or some other shenanigan happening here. That was the only other text that I had to press on.
Hold it!
I'll try doing Ron and see what happens.
Objection!
Is it the guys on trial?
Yeah, that's... But, like, I feel like there's going to be an immediate response to that that says that doesn't make sense based on the other things you've said so far. No, that's not right. It's their aura. Alright, I'll look it up here in a second. I'm not sure what the game actually wants from me this time. If anyone in chat has a tip for me. This is... Hey JP, thanks for the follow.
See, I don't think I would like this game. For the same reason I don't like analogies.
Because, like, you'll have an argument that makes sense to you, but it's not the one that the test taker wanted.
Correct. He wants to know who the accomplice is. Or have a hint as to who the accomplice is.
It looks like I had the right idea, but I need to do something first before I can start revealing that. Oh. Did I not press on that statement? Is that the problem? 1, 2, 3.
Hold it!
Yeah, no worries. I think I know where we're going, because I already tried to show the pink splotch, and I tried to show the box, and it says that's what we need to do. But it needs to be through a specific, like, step
order of
in
events.
the... Exactly. Yeah, I must have just missed... I thought I pressed everything, but... Because I went to go present the pink box and then the pink splotch, and it didn't give it to me. I wasn't planning to do the accomplice thing at all.
Take that!
Or it could be on the box itself. This is a blood stain. No, it's not blood. just paint. Consider the layout of the basement warehouse. It turns out something should be there, is nowhere to be seen. Should be the statue because it hasn't been moved yet, right? Supervisor of the treasure exhibit stated the following. Good reason for that. On the day of the crime around noon, the golden statue happened to arrive from the mountain training hall. This is why there is this big psyche lock sequence with her admitting that she was moving the statue to hide the paint. So you took the picture earlier with a different timestamp. So it just shows the time and not the date.
Objection!
The statue of the old bag was sitting in the corner. So I said this last episode, but you weren't here, Andrea. My solution to this would be like playtest the game with like 100 people.
Yeah.
And if anyone has an idea, like you're having, you know, if they get there a little early, then allow that as a legal step. It's the same thing with the analogy problem. If they can give you a decent argument for why that one might work, then if you're the one designing the test, maybe remove that until you get 3 options that clearly don't fit, right? Why was the statue moved? Why did they move it? Who was the one that moved the statue on the night of the crime? It'd have to be Luke, right? Come now, Sir Lawyer. There you go again on one of your strange delusions. What basis do you have for your strange delusions? Why would I want to remove a heavy statue? Hey, Brash. That's D-Rock, by the way.
Ah, hey, D-Rock. / Brash.
Here's where our battle really begins. Create an alibi by showing you were at Lordly Taylor that night. If the statue had been there, your lie would be exposed like a cheap film in a drugstore. It's on the box because there's no paint on it, right?
Take that!
Really wish you'd start acting more responsibly. What possible connection could there be with mass-to-mass identity? What? Okay, I guess they want me to point at something slightly different. The lack of date?
The brooch? No.
Yeah, I think we already covered the brooch in the previous trial. I do have to save skipping. Oh, I can't from the screen. Well, I guess I'll rush through the text if I get it wrong here.
Take that!
The timestamp? What do you mean? The night in question, Luke Atmey went to KB Security and murdered Kane Ballard. It would have been impossible for him to have been at Lord Taylor at this time. Partial breakdown from Luke. When was the statue placed beside the warehouse door? Taken out of the warehouse on the day of the crime. Placed there in order to cover up the paint. Luke had already decided on the time when he was going to kill the victim. In order to create an alibi for that time, he took this picture days before the murder. That's actually quite clever. I mean, it wasn't supposed to be there in a place where it wasn't supposed to be. That's why Luke had to move it on the night of the murder. Oh, man! He lost his magnifying glass-shaped monocle. Long-tailed cat in her rocking chair factory.
Objection!
The camera had been set up by the Lordly Taylor's staff. The program used to manage that data was yours. That allowed you to tamper with it. It's the 11th cup of coffee. Promise to drink no more than 17 during a trial. He has a good point. We're all but travelers on a road of infinite points. If his points mix up with his other points, it's probably a tricky localization as well. One point can't be denied. It's only a possibility. Men that are trapped by the chains of maybe can never reach their dreams. Okay, Godot. Is it, Judge? Is it very true? Slam mugs without them shattering. The dramatic of the coffee fly in the air without getting everywhere. By the court with your testimony. I'm down to 1 hit point, so I'm gonna have to scum save again here in a second. First received a request from Lordly Taylor about 20 days ago. It was placed in a box. It was then sent to the warehouse. I was unable to see the urn for myself until the day of the crime. I knew it was extremely valuable. I sent my card 10 days before. Yeah, well, we know it's worthless, don't we? Handled security by myself to ensure that my crime would go smoothly. Held the urn in my hands for the first time at 1 a.m. on October 12th. Sure there are no mistakes this time. Because there's no such thing as perjury in this universe. One second. I'll make sure I press on everything this time.
Hold it!
You're asked to guard the urn by Miss Adrian Andrews, is that right? I heard of my sparkling reputation. It was placed in a box, sent to the warehouse. I mean, this box? Yes, that pathetic box. Wouldn't let anyone enter the storeroom, not even me.
Hold it!
You're sure you'd never seen the urn before? Security was focused entirely on the entrance to the warehouse. Sent my card 10 days beforehand. Handle security by myself to ensure my crime would go smoothly. Many different treasures being taken to the basement warehouse. For a period of approximately 5 days, people were indeed going in and out of the warehouse. The urn in my hands for the first time at 1 a.m. on October 12th.
Alright, I'm leaving.
See ya. Thanks for popping in. the photo was taken, I think it would matter. So he never saw the urn until that night. If we can prove he's lying, we can wrap this up and put a bow on it. Took this photo well before the actual night of the crime. Oh my god, this is the thing that I was trying to call out and got a penalty for in the last section. Alright, it's probably going to yell at me because it needs me to present something very specific, but... Dropped the urns box 2 weeks ago. She also knocked over some paint. So we know that's not true. Let me try this.
Objection!
Nope, sound's still going. I'm going to have to reload again. Yes, I think that this is right. Like, the problem is there's no paint on there. But I need to figure out which line I have to present on. Again, if chat knows generally which one to do, I guess I'd prefer to get a hint from chat, but I'll look it up if I have to. Or tell me if my line of reasoning is completely wrong. That would be fine too. So there's like this box. It could also be this one. I was unable to see the urn for myself until the day. Sorry, it's a purple color. Am I on the right track at least, Loot Effects? The paint is proof that... Because in the picture, there's no paint on in the box. This fabricated photo. There should be paint in the corner of the box there. Okay, I just need to know what... If that's right, I'll just look up where I'm supposed to do it. The calling card. Doing a purloin, the most priceless work of art on display in your treasures of Crane exhibit. Take care of the speckled urn. Thanks to effects. So I'm trying to say, clearly in the picture you don't have paint on the box, but it wants me to notice that there's only speckles of paint on the box because of the paint marks. Okay, I got you. It's kind of arbitrary. I think they both prove the same thing.
Objection!
No, it's fine. I don't see how that's any more, like, conclusive than the paint marks themselves, because the paint marks themselves even say, like, 2 weeks before, right? Speckled here surely refers to this pink pattern on the urn. There's no way Mass to Mass could have known about this pattern. Look, the urn was broken due to human error, or should I say, an error-prone human. She looks so upset. I think it's our first time seeing that image of the recreation. Can't be serious. Spit takes. Great. Alibi for the night of the murder no longer holds water. Guag, 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 guag. I don't know what sound he was supposed to be making there. He's an Oglop. Need to play FF9 again. It's on Switch now, isn't it? Yesterday we all decided unanimously that this man was Mask to Mask, and now we're calling him murderer. I think we're being fickle? Alright, the judge is slipping back into idiocy. I think he like force pulls them to his hand. Why would he do that? Might you, my merry murderous motive manifest? Must have had a very strong motive for the murder. And be honored to Sir Old Timer. Is that like Oji-sama? Lord Old Man. Motive for murder. I, Luke Atney, had no points of contact with the victim whatsoever. I like the more urgent music here. Cain Ballard decided to investigate Mask to Mask and simply mistook who he was. It's Mr. Ballard who wrote the blackmail letter and sent it to Ron DeLite. It's against Mr. Ballard who harbored a grudge against Mr. DeLite for his betrayal. Mr. Ballard's mistake is excusable. The defendant truly believes he is Mask to Mask. That's why Mr. DeLite saw fit to kill Cain Ballard. Truly a tragedy. So the victim, Cain Ballard, blackmailed the defendant. This is the blackmail letter found in the defendant's apartment. Handwriting test confirms Mr. Ballard was indeed the one who wrote the letter. Okay. New data on that. Written by Ballard, it says. If you don't want your true identity revealed to the world, come to KV Security at 1 a.m. October 12th and bring $50,000. If you don't, I'll take that red diamond you received the other day instead. We've seen is on Luke Atney's hand, right? Cross-examination.
Hold it!
Do another safety save here in a sec. After doing a thorough background check of Detective Atney and Cain Ballard, we were unable to find any links between them. It's all in the reports. Yeah, but we also have the Cain's list, right? Nope, that was blunt.
Hold it!
So Luke is saying that Cain mistook who Mask to Mask was. And he's like, mistook? From the Old Norse, mistaka, meaning to take an error. That wasn't what I meant. Yeah, press harder. I don't think there's ever a penalty for pressing unless the game tells you there will be. Why would the victim mistake the defendant from mask to mask? Take a look at this newspaper. The famous tear of Eminon, a magnificent jewel. Photo shows a magnificent detective as well, does it not? It also shows an ugly guard, namely the defendant. That was an unusually reasonable deduction. It was Mr. Ballard who wrote the blackmail letter and sent it to Ron Wright. It says bring $50,000, and the handwriting is without a doubt the victim's. I don't see an address C on this letter anywhere. It's discovered in Rhonda Light's apartment. Mr. Light did show up at the designated place and time. The fact that there's no address C is irrelevant. Is it, though? What if the blackmail letter wasn't meant for Mr. Delight? Something not quite right about the letter. Okay, so we probably have to present on that step.
Hold it!
KB Security has a lot of security info on all sorts of companies, and so security's team chief, I stole data from the company. King Ballard had yet to forgive young Mr. Delight, which is why he sent him that letter upon mistakenly believing he was the thief. Mr. Ballard was receiving money through blackmail. Why did the defendant pay Mr. Ballard the money even though he wasn't actually mask to mask? Do you think that story's gonna hold up? A memo from Ron Delight's wife, Desiree Delight. Ronnie thinks he's mask to mask. Don't you feel sorry for him? Please don't think too badly of him. I love the brief playing of that track. This series would be great with voice acting. Whoever they get to do Godot trying to do an impression of Desiree.
Hold it!
Is it like a pretty like one-to-one adaptation in the anime? So-called long stories aren't always that long. Okay, so I pressed him on every statement. Let's go ahead and safety save here. In the future, I'll try to reload before I'm on my last hit point so I don't have to keep saves coming to progress. It's tricky because like I understand why you have a health bar, so you don't just brute force every step in the game. Maybe if they did it the other way around and was like, you get like a rating at the end, you get an S rank if you didn't make any mistakes or something. I think this was the one that we got the extra crap on it, right? Let me check. Address C. Something's not quite right with that line, okay. So... Tear of Eminon, Crown of Bungora, Left Hand of Hades, Portrait of Maginus. The only 4 he knows about don't include any kind of red jewel, and he newspaper clipping pretty clearly makes it blue there. That makes sense, Uber. Yeah, just like the volume of text. That actually would be interesting to see how they chop it down into individual episodes. So, usually we don't present the same item. Send it to Rhonda Light. But this is the only thing that says it was found in his room. There's nothing else that's directly related to the thing he's talking about, so I'll get ready to reload if I have to here.
Objection!
Oh, maybe that was right. Okay. You said this letter was addressed to Rhonda Light. Couldn't help but notice one major contradiction. Contradiction. Nice, Uber. At times like these, men are made to express themselves with their fists. Time to man up. Show us the contradicting evidence in the content of the blackmail letter. Oh, this might be what I was just looking at. Well, damn, I guess I got lucky for picking this one instead of the other thing. I'll take that red diamond you received. But then, it's not in profiles, right? I don't have the diamond as a separate. I think it's just in the newspaper clipping. I think this is right. Take a good look at this newspaper. Okay. The music didn't stop right away, so I was a little worried. It's a picture of the Tear of Eminon, the stolen jewel. Color of the stolen jewel was blue. However, in the blackmail letter, a totally different jewel is mentioned. Red? Oh, okay, so I actually came to this conclusion on a different track than the game intended me to come to it. I think the game was trying to say that because Luke's theory was that the CEO figured out who Mask to Mask was because of the newspaper clipping, like, this is a crack in that testimony? I guess that makes sense.
Objection!
We had to present it on... That was press testimony, though, and it wasn't testimony that got added onto the official court record. Blackmail letter was intended for someone else. The judge's mirrorism. That's what you're trying to say, right, Trite? Right, Mr. Wright? Right, Nick? This is who Cain Ballard was actually blackmailing Luke at me, right? Confident enough in that. It's you, Detective Atme. Been personally involved in every single Mask to Mask case, and in the last case you recovered what was stolen and received a jewel. Yeah. I think the Trite thing is like I think it's being localized. Like maybe there's a punny way to mispronounce Phoenix Wright's name in the Japanese version of the game. I think he's like stumbling over the word on purpose because he doesn't care. But here they're actually using another word that's like directly insulting to him. But no one's commented on the fact that the word Trite is insulting, right? Red diamond ring. Hey, cornered. Ah!
Objection!
Cain Ballard blackmailing Luke at me? Are you for real? Yes, I am. Blackmail letter contains the following passage. If you don't want your identity revealed, King Lord threatened to make Luke Admey's identity public knowledge. Yeah, there's a pretty good argument that, like, the U.S. justice system is very unfairly biased in favor of the defense, although that's by design. They want to make it hard to convict somebody, err in favor of defendants. In the U.S. justice system, the defense doesn't... It's not that they don't have to tell the truth. Like, they aren't completely bound by the truth. They just have to create doubt, which can be infinite possibility, whereas the prosecution has to stick to one possibility. What's the identity? Keep secrets. His identity as an ace detective, masked mask, or a blackmailer. Well, this is a case of the game suggesting something to me that I hadn't thought of. I doubt it's either of these two because they're too obvious, right? So I'll do my multiple choice. What is the test taker thinking? Trickery. Hey!
Objection!
Thanks, game, for the heads up. Isn't that a little different from what you've been saying? It is, actually. Saying Atney was blackmailing someone else on top of that. It's not odd. It's the only thing that makes any sense. Kane Blard was blackmailing Luke Atney, but Rhonda Light was also being blackmailed. Oh, actually, no, we did know that, didn't we? Right. Because all along, Luke was trying to set him up to pretend to be him. Very elaborate setup. Received plans from a very kind person. Incredibly detailed plans. Someone else came up with plans and had Mr. Delight steal his targets for him. Yeah, that's consistent. Is he about to go cray-cray on us again? When you were in grade school, you received the same report card every year. Careless, with a tendency to jump to conclusions. Am I wrong? You say that I, Luke Atney, was blackmailing Rhonda Light? In which case I would naturally know all about his relation to Mask. Rhonda Light started receiving plans from his second crime onward, right? Which means I learned of his identity when he committed that first crime. Certainly couldn't have blackmailed him otherwise, because they're both in the newspaper clipping together. Let's see some hot, bitter evidence. During the first crime, how did Luke Atney know that Rhonda Light was Mask to Mask? Because they both appear in this clipping, right? I'm pretty sure about that. I don't think I need to safety save. I guess if it yells at me, I can fast forward through everything.
Take that!
Uh-oh. Oh, no, they want the music. You're in grade school, you receive the same report card every year. Gets into a lot of mischief, trying to be the center of attention. This picture of you and Rhonda Light in his guard uniform. Took off his outfit and hid it in a bucket. I love the judge. That sounds far too stupid to be true. With tricks like that, he couldn't fool a baby, let alone an ace detective. I'm doing all the damage-taking sound effects. Maru Hugo? Does that mean something different, sir? Or is it just a bumbling mispronunciation? expose me like that. Never blackmailed anyone in my life. Okay, now he's going full cray-cray. You are neither a proud thief nor an ace detective. You're a blackmailer and a murderer. Maru means round, I see. I love the auto-scroll text and stuff like this. He's basically just going crazy. Go on, make a fool of me, blah 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 blah. That was quite a performance. Parasol for Mr. Adme. What do you got for me now, buddy? The hammer that strikes too fast has no time to aim. I think they use the same sound effect for him slamming his cup as they use for the gavel. I will be the one to judge. Claws weren't quite sharp enough, Mr. Trite. Just because he wasn't at the warehouse doesn't mean he was at the murder scene. Can't prove this pitiful excuse for a man who's at KV security. I don't see how a verdict can be delivered. No way! This is the final round. Can you really prove that? I don't think I can I? Oh, jeez. Okay. Hey! Thanks, game. I'm gonna do my same trick. That got me in trouble before. I'd lost some health as a result. It's safer to say no, because I don't have to back it up with any evidence. Can't prove it. Alright, last time... I don't see the health card popping up here. But, if we hear more of Detective Adme's testimony... That's as far as you go. I won't allow for more testimony. Failed to prove he committed the murder. Love wins out in the end after all? Okay. Clear that with the full force of my ace detectiveness. Okay. By then it'll be too late. Why? Because he'll already be done with his other trial, which apparently operates on an even faster timescale. Double jeopardy, one of the basic rules of any court of law. I don't know if double jeopardy has come up before in Phoenix, right? That has to be in English in the Japanese version of the game, right? Double jeopardy. Should a defendant be tried and found innocent in court, that defendant cannot be tried again for the same crime. This is a fundamental rule of all courts. Is it though? I guess it depends. Didn't Oscar Pistorius he didn't get retried, but his sentence actually got increased, which I thought was kind of crazy. Maybe that's just South Africa. But it's like he'll be found guilty of larceny, though. That doesn't mean that he can't be found guilty of murder. Whatever, it's fine. No way. You will never again be tried as Cain Ballard's murderer. Franz proclaimed to be innocent. The real killer, Luke Cadney, will go free. Cross-examined every statement the witness has made here today. As long as there's no more testimony, I'm afraid I have to declare there will be no further questioning of the witness.
Objection!
Is it Mia? Your Honor, when you were a child, this is what was on your report card every year. Has poor hearing and often makes mistakes as a result. A lawyer is someone who smiles no matter how bad it gets. Okay. Is that a lawyer? Is this the true meaning of the Korean channeling technique? So this is the true power of the Korean channeling technique. Just a normal thing to happen in an American court. If this was the first Phoenix Wright game you played, you'd be really puzzled by this. Although it definitely feels like you're supposed to play them in order, at least the original trilogy. They all reference back on each other. You're forgetting something. Earlier, after the last cross-examination, this witness made a number of remarks. Love wins out in the end after all. I am the ace detective as well as mass to mass. My verdict will verify that. Declare that with the full force of my ace detectiveness. These comments appear to have no importance whatsoever, and we shall prove their importance via cross-examination. I think that didn't that happen during the OJ trial? OJ was allowed to make us he opted out of testifying, which was smart because he would have come off awfully. But then he was allowed to make a statement that didn't get cross-examined by Marcia Clark. And I was like, what the fuck? And Judge Ito allowed it. At least in U.S. courts, if you're the defendant, you have the right to not testify at all, and defendants sometimes have good reason to do that. But that means that you also don't get to say anything. You cannot make a statement without getting crossed. You're a step too late. I think such falsehoods would do anything to me, Luke Adney. Whoa, Godot's okay with it. True, the witness made some remarks. Let's hear this last bit of cross-examination. Defense would like to hear why you declared the defendant to be the true murderer. He would have been fine if he hadn't have opened his mouth, I guess. It's true that I was not at Lordly Taylor. I had to leave to see about another vitally important job request. I had known about the date beforehand, so I had this photograph readied. A brilliant deduction informed me the true culprit was Rhonda Light. Thanks to the keycard in the wallet, it was abundantly clear that he was there. I was also able to make a deduction from the buzzer, which only sounded once. The button didn't have any fingerprints on it. Why? The victim would have left prints if he sounded it, which means the killer sounded it. Mr. Delight was wearing his mask-to-mask outfit, which is why he left no prints. Blackmail letter? The victim likely just mistook the color of the jewel. All the evidence points to that poor boy. Witness's earlier remarks do not appear to have been hastily prepared. All of the points have been explained, and none of them seem to contradict anything. Yeah, it would be nice if it was exactly the phrases you said before. How'd you know about the emergency buzzer? It's elementary, sir. I will not allow any of your usual shenanigans, Sir Wright. This is your last chance. Just one chance. There isn't any evidence that contradicts with that testimony, so it would seem. Finding out contradictions doesn't always mean you have to present evidence, does it? You can't point out a case-breaking contradiction, you lose. Oh, okay. So the game's pretty clear about when pressing gets you in trouble, I guess. Cup number 17, the last cup. Okay. I love Godot. Clear it out without presenting evidence. All I can do is find the contradictory remark and press it. Oof, okay. Okay, we'll save again here. Yes, please. Thank you. I think when you game over, it sets you back to when your health bar was first full, so like the beginning of that day. It's true I was not at Lordly Taylor. I had to leave to see about another vitally important job request. I had known about the date beforehand, so I had this photograph ready. My brilliant deduction was what informed me that the true culprit was Rhonda Light. Okay, so let me try to talk through my logic for these here. Whatever statement I have to press on, it has to be one that, like, really implicates him if it's not true. So, it's true that I was not at Lordly Taylor. It's fine, because he's already admitting something. I had to leave to see about another vitally important job request. Who cares? I had known about the date beforehand, so I had the photograph ready. We know that already. Who cares? Deduction informed me that the true culprit was Rhonda Light. That's... oh, shoot. If you're watching in the future on YouTube, just had a stream disconnect. I'm checking to see if it's... I'll see if I can edit out the downtime once it's on YouTube. If I can't, oh well, whatever. What are you gonna do? Alright, so I was previously going through the phrases here to see if there's something that would have a consequence if he's lying. I think I made it to like number 3 or 4 before my connection suddenly dropped. I think this one's fine, this one's fine, this one's fine. This one is just idle speculation. I think that's the statement I was on when I got disconnected. Thanks to the keycard and wallet, it was abundantly clear he was there. Guess I can't really dispute that. It's also able to make a deduction from the buzzer, which only sounded once, which I think is just true. The button didn't have any fingerprints on it. I mean, there's nothing to follow up with that, because that's also just true. The victim would have left prints if he sounded it, which means the killer sounded it. Again, that's speculation. Mr. Light was wearing his mask-to-mask outfit, which is why he left no prints. Blackmail letter, victim just mistook the color of the jewel. I mean, I think he's full of shit on that one, but I don't think I can prove otherwise. All the evidence points to that poor boy, and that's just a sum-up thing. Somewhere there's a huge contradiction, and I've got to find it. Huge contradiction. And there's no evidence, so we have to press. You only get one shot. let me narrow it down to the phrases that might be relevant. Okay, so there's this one. The victim would have left prints if he sounded it, which means the killer sounded it. Mr. Delight was wearing the mask-to-mask outfit, which is why he left no prints. The blackmail letter mistook the color of the jewel. Okay, so the only two phrases to me, are either this one, the killer must have sounded it, and he was wearing his outfit, which is why he left no prints. I have to press him on one statement without presenting evidence. And I've narrowed it down to these two statements. The other statements, I don't see how pressing could result in any new information. The victim would have left prints if he sounded it, which means the killer sounded it. That's him making a speculation. And this is him making a statement of fact. I'd rather try to press him on fact than on speculation, so I'm gonna try... I did save before this, right? Let me do another safety save. I'm gonna try this one and see what happens. My health bar went away, so maybe I'm okay? Maybe it allows multiple presses there. Isn't the time to be pressing the witness in every statement? Shit, maybe I am in trouble. I'm afraid you're the one who still doesn't get it, Mr. Godot. Seems you finally admitted you were in the CEO's office. I don't know why yet. But didn't have any fingerprints on it. Mr. Love was wearing his outfit. Yeah, I only picked that because it was the only possibly factually questionable thing that maybe he couldn't have a way of knowing it. But it's never clear like what the defendants are in the trial room to hear. Is it because we revealed that in the other... well, he was in the other trial, maybe? Deductions prove you're a fool. So wait for a statement to be contradiction without being factually false. When did we learn the fact that Rondelite was dressed as mask to mask? Back when my sixth cup was looking at me. Okay, so this is usually something that I think would be interesting, because I feel like a lot of police investigations are running this way. Like a lot of the ways that you trap witnesses is by getting them to reveal information that they shouldn't know. Stuff that the police didn't make public, that sort of a thing. I guess that's come up in previous Phoenix Wright trials, but I generally assume that everyone involved in a case is aware of all of the information that's revealed in the court. So I guess this is the only case we've been in where there's like an explicit reason why the defendant could not have heard about this, because he was literally in another courtroom, right? Well, I guess I lucked out. You get to tell anyone else this fact before this morning. The only people who should know this are those who have been watching this trial. Which you can generally assume is everyone, but not in this one particular case. I got it. I guess for the purposes of the video game, they need to make it abundantly clear when a person shouldn't be there for the information. It's clever. That would have been a good hint, I think.
Objection!
I don't think he had anything else in his statements that was worth pressing on, though. Everything else was just idle speculation tied to other statements. Well, I guess that's gamifying it too much.
Objection!
At night, Mr. Delay was wearing his mask-to-mask outfit. There was one and only one way for Detective Atme to have found that out. Under the office, there was a suspicious shadow shaped like Luke Atme.
Objection!
Objection!
I love the chain objections. That statement will turn this case on its head. You'll do a turnabout? Yeah. The real killer had also seen Ron Delight. Impossible. I feel like they probably should have made that silhouette a little bit less obvious, but maybe they wanted to give the player a bit of a help there. The only way you could have known what Ron was wearing. The shaking courtroom. It's like a JRPG boss. Unable to find a rival worthy of my genius, I was forced to create one by myself. That's the same line you gave yesterday. An awfully complicated incident. Tragic clown. Yeah, the judge followed the case pretty well at the end there. He wanted to use the double jeopardy rule in making his alibi. He once again says, I came perilously close to besmirching the record of an innocent young man. I love how Ron... This is kind of an elegant case in that Ron was trying to use the same strategy in the first half of the case that Luke was using at the end. About the verdict. I really am mask to mask. Huh? Thanks to that trial yesterday, I'm innocent now, right? Was it you said? Double jeopardy? I've been careless. The rule of double jeopardy is absolute. Seems so for now. I do think, like, the actual, for the most part, the actual mechanics of the case, as it would progress in something like a TV show, are pretty smart in all three Phoenix Wright games. There's a couple, like, cheesy evidence points and, like, decision points where you have to kind of make a janky connection in order to progress the case, but the actual, like, bones of the story are pretty well done, I would say. Ron Delight is double innocent. Thanks, Mia. Maya seems strong. You mean about becoming the master of the Korean channeling school? See you around. Even nobody questions that anymore. Stealing security information from KB Security, becoming mask to mask. Did it all for one reason. And Desiree existed almost entirely to be a potential red herring, I think. Because if it had just been Luke Cadme, it would have been obvious who it was. Ordinary American things. Broken bowl could never be put back together. I assume that everyone sees the Maya Mia transformation because spirit medium evidence has been admitted in court before, right? So it's not like what she's doing is particularly odd. Even if a bowl is broken, there's always a way to put it back together. Show them the urn, I guess.
Take that!
Desiree, your wife, has always believed in you, Ron. Just get some pink paint. You did it, Ronnie. You're innocent. I'm so happy. I had no idea you'd quit KB Security. Never imagined your early mask to mask. That's a pretty huge breach of trust. You're not really gonna leave him, are you? Okay. Didn't you say you hated criminals? I only hate people who act cowardly and sneaky, like that detective. My Ronnie went and declared his crimes before he committed them, like a man. Okay. I'm glad I asked you to defend my Ronnie. Hey, it's Pearl. What? I'm not clear on... Is he staring or something, or is she hugging him? Ron said, a broken bowl can never be put back together. With, like, idiom brackets on either side of it. Was it put back together better than ever before? Isn't that a thing, though? Isn't there a Japanese art style where you, like, intentionally... Or you take broken pottery and, like, replace it with... paint gold along the shatter points or something? Brand new episode has been added. Recipe for a turnabout. I think Uber is saying that, like, only that's just for, like, the player and for Phoenix's benefit, so you can tell the difference. But that from everyone else's perspective, it's just normal Maya suddenly talking to you. This case is extremely clear. See no room for misinterpretation of the facts. It wasn't me. I swear it wasn't me. He was alone at his table when he drank from that poisoned cup of coffee. Cup of coffee, uh-oh. Saw someone else there, a man. He's the real killer. What? This animation is too good. Why won't anyone believe me? So this might be our backstory on Godot. Court finds the defendant guilty. Well, that's a pretty fun start to a trial. To a chapter, I should say. The start of the new year always makes me feel like I could take on the whole world. Take on the world. Mistletoe cake? Is that a thing? You gotta eat a lot of cake during New Year's. It's practically a completely American tradition. Like watching the fireworks on TV or playing a board game. I haven't seen Gumshoe in a minute. Look, pal. Don't you like my first practical joke of the year? Deadly poisoning brings guilty verdict. Defense attorney Wright trounced. Trounced? The defense attorney gave an almost childishly amateur performance. What the heck is this? The report about you. Tell me you don't remember anything about it. But I don't remember anything about it. December of last year. Okay. Oh, so only a month ago. But I wasn't involved in a poisoning case in December. Phony Nick? Shadow Phoenix? What are you gonna do about it? Well, it's your fault the judge found the defendant guilty. Did they, I forget if they established in Phoenix Wright 1, did they talk about the, like, extremely low acquittal rate in Japan? And, like, apply it to this setting? The Phoenix Wright is super famous now. Because that's what would make Phoenix Wright so famous, is that he hasn't failed yet. Got our first case in the new year. Let's tackle it with gusto. Doing an appeals case is cool. They've mentioned how godly Edgeworth is, okay. We've talked about that a lot in this series, that in Japan they just don't let things go to trial unless if it's basically certain that they're going to get a guilty verdict. I guess people are starting to know the name Phoenix Wright. Client entrusted a case to me based on my reputation. I guess I kind of am responsible. Okay. What sort of guy would impersonate me? I love that little cutscene before this thing started. It says I was trounced and my client was found guilty. What's our first move? Go to the detention center and talk. Okay, Phoenix back like Shin Yop? What kind of name for an evil double is Shin Yop? If you're gonna ask whether I've got a twin brother, the answer is no. I feel like that would be an appropriate reveal for a game like this. Phoenix backwards. And what's the opposite of a phoenix? Just a regular dead bird? Regular dead bird wrong. Detention center. This is nerve-wracking waiting to meet our new client. Oh, they're just assuming that we're going to get to be their new defense attorney. There you go, Articuno. How could you? Put me in solitary. It's me, Maggie Bird. I don't actually remember her. Maybe they'll bring me up to speed here. Policewoman? Oh, maybe I do remember that. Wasn't she in the second game? Yeah. Except now she's not a policewoman anymore. What's one more disaster in my life? I like this game's reasoning for giving you a tutorial. It was a neat little sequence. The Phoenix on the stand. In the second act of The Life of Maggie Bird, I'm playing the role of a waitress. It's an interesting career shift. In a French restaurant. You think it's supposed to be a French restaurant, or if it's supposed to be like a hostess restaurant? Because we'll see the other people involved in it. The owner, Mr. Armstrong, hired me straight away. That started on the 3rd of last month. Yes, I mean maid cafe hostess. Trabian. Restaurant where good service and a friendly smile are always included. This guy's got a scouter. 2 men at the table, both drinking coffee. One guy looks just like Phoenix Wright. Keep calling the guy the victim. Didn't you know the guy was killed? Not at all. I've never seen him before. Shouldn't have a motive to kill him then. I love that drawing. Guilty verdict. Saw the murderer, why were you still convicted? No one else saw. Man who put the poison in the victim's coffee. But the DBZ scouter. Everyone said he was sitting alone at the table, but she saw somebody else. Weird. Even Phoenix Wright, my one last hope for a fair trial, failed me. What a pathetic defense. So the fake Phoenix was the one that actually did the crime, it looked like? Found something incriminating in my apron pocket. A bottle of poison, just a little incriminating. She passed out when the victim collapsed. Some good planning on the part of the killer. The other guy. When I first saw them, I thought they might be in the music industry. One of them had an earpiece and an emo musician's look about him. The earpiece is probably not music related, right? Had a band's name written on it, MC something, preparing for their debut. Yeah, I bet it's like a covert, like a data disc or something. Maybe it was MC Screwdriver. Very funny. Did you buy the CD of a group named that? Or guy named that? MC Hacksaw? What did the killer look like? He was a young man, well built like the victim. Okay. She's giving me all 4 of her dialogue options. So now I'm just gonna say bye and bail on her. It's been ages since we came down to the precinct, huh, Nick? It's like Gumshoe isn't around. He's got it so easy leaving everyone else to do the work. I don't think we've been here for the whole of Phoenix Wright 3. Just the latest babes in uniform calendar, great. The police mascot, the Blue Badger. The pink one is new. One's called Blue and the other's called Pink, but they're both called Badger? You got it, they're married. Oh, boomer humor. Marriage is like prison. Okay. Don't die running a red light. Die the old-fashioned way of old age. Come up with slogans for a safety campaign. Okay, I guess we gotta go back and talk to Maggie some more, but I thought there were only ever a maximum of 4 things to discuss. Try presenting something to her. This article is about my case. Can you tell me anything about the guy who was pretending to be me? Got you in the visitor's room. You're wearing one of your super sharp suits. Was my evil double I am there too? I remember phoning you. She's so disappointed. It's funny. Gonna get you clear of this crime. Okay, so he's got like a Brooklyn accent. You realize the guy wasn't the real me. You were taller than normal, and you looked a bit shady. Okay. You had your spiky hair and blue suit. Is that all it takes for someone to imitate me? Didn't anyone else realize he was an imposter? No one wanted to say anything. Okay. The justice system in this game. I think it's possible to get a retrial. Probably. The court ruled in the absence of a genuine defense attorney. Hey! Appeals are a thing, apparently. Yeah, everyone's as dumb as bricks, except occasionally the killer, for a little bit. And the prosecutor, usually. Since I was 6 months old when I fell from the 9th floor of my apartment building. Been hit by all sorts of vehicles, gotten sick from all sorts of food. It's a fun, cartoony premise for a case that she was represented by the wrong person. It's pretty silly. Their goal here is to write nearly entirely non-degenerate, like, defense attorney cases. I don't mind if they get a little fantastical with it. Phoenix Wright jumped the shark in, like, case 2 of the first game, right? So they may as well go full-blown goofy. Tribulations, the restaurant where the murder took place. Tell Mr. Armstrong I said hi. Okay. I will say that for the most part, the cases in these games don't just feel like another episode of Law & Order. There's always something kind of crazy going on that makes it really different. I think the very first case was somewhat reasonable, and then it got real dumb real fast in the first game. That actually kind of threw me off. That's part of why I was goofy about the Magatama stuff in Phoenix Wright 2, where it's like, if you're going to be this silly, you need to be, like, this silly immediately. But if I recall correctly, that first trial is pretty straightforward for the most part. I don't even know if there's any jokes in it. Larry isn't it? Okay, maybe not. Maybe he was a bumbling dummy. Was he the defendant in that one? I need to go back and rewatch read the Wikipedia article. Rack full of fashion magazines, and they're all in French. You try wearing, like, lawyer's assistant clothes. Ooh, something stuck behind the rack. Someone scribbled a doodle on one of the pages. MC Bomber. 100,000. $100,000, maybe? It's from December 3rd. Papers from the day of the poisoning. What? Alright, check it. And there's Mask to Mask in the corner. Ah, ha 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 ha. Picture of a bomb. My guess is that MC Bomber is not the name of a band. Bouquet of flowers, potpourri, bone china cups. Never knew you were so cultured. Those magical boxes that spits out money. You know, you're the only person to ever describe a cash register in that way. The table where the murder occurred still has the police tape up. You just told her not to lick the tablecloth. Partitions that separate the tables. When you're seated at a table, you can only see the tables to your right or left. Guessing it's a maid cafe. Okay, I don't think there's much else to examine. Anything about this sports paper? Oh, a sports paper. Guts and Brawn managed to defend his heavyweight title? This is from the day of the murder. Gutson got knocked out yesterday. Found this paper in the magazine rack at Tribulations. Tribune doesn't get newspapers. Mr. Armstrong isn't fond of them. Interesting. Look at the scribble. That's it, sir. MC Bomber. Totally not the name of a band. Guy's got an earpiece writing MC Bomber, a price. It's like a... Does Japan have a CIA equivalent? Down payment for a record deal. It sounds like it's a hit, maybe. The newspaper may have belonged to the victim. Let's see if there's anybody at the Criminal Affairs Department now. Nope. CIA. Hey, vent flag hype. Ooh la la, bonjour. Hello. Oh my god, okay. Welcome to my little restaurant. This is gonna be a thing. This guy's trying to give Maya special bath salts. Bath oil. He's permanently got a rose in his mouth. Oh, nice, 6 gun. We're not here to eat, we're lawyers. He's pretty tall. I never forget a man who flirts with me, especially in court. And they really are sticking with that Shin Eop thing, aren't they? What does trivia mean? Very good. Japan have a pretty limited defense initiative, or just a limited standing army because of World War II. So people don't like haute cuisine, and Phoenix is like, I thought everyone liked hot cuisine. I'm trained aromatherapist. A roaming what? Practitioner of aromatherapy. Says Maggie was the one who last took the drink to the guy. He was in the kitchen and heard the sound of someone collapsing when it happened. When he came out, he was already dead. At this point, it just means they can't have long-range weapon systems. Gotcha. You sure there is no one else at the table? They asked. I'm not the only one. The old man said the same thing. What old man? So, okay. Dangerous political quarantine territory, but it's relevant to the subject matter at hand, and maybe someone is familiar with it, and if not, maybe I can look into it, because I'm curious. What is the state of gay rights, or LGBT rights in Japan? I've seen a lot of anime and played a lot of video games that have this sort of, like, effete gay stereotype character. It's usually played for laughs. I don't think we've ever really played a game that has a gay character that's, pardon the phrase, played straight. Usually in anime, it's like that's the joke, right? Can you be an out gay person in Japan? Is that acceptable? Like, is that going to keep you from getting jobs? Or are you going to get judged? I almost exclusively see it as a stereotype in anime. But it's a weird stereotype because it's like it's played for the joke, but it is almost never addressed as part of the plot. It's just this like joke that's orthogonal to whatever the story is. There's never a gay character who like their boyfriend is important in the plot, or their girlfriend is important in the plot if they're lesbian, Yeah, it's almost like it's like this implied thing, like that this character is gay, but that we're not going to talk about it at all. Like, we're going to make an offhanded joke about it, and that's it. Gay marriage became legal only recently in Japan. Interesting. I'm glad that's a thing, at least. The first person who says it wasn't me. What do you know about the sports paper? Presumably you still have a fourth thing to talk about. He says the paper must have been left behind by a customer. I'm not a lawyer myself. I don't wish to speak out of turn. Your defense in court was a little lacking, perhaps. Even a Frenchman who cannot speak English could have done a better job. No need to show me that. You are Phoenix Wright, the worst defense attorney in town. Last time we met, did I show you this badge? Yes, you flashed it to everyone in the restaurant. Maggie was a policewoman once. Isn't that true? She had to quit for reasons beyond her control. He knows about her being a suspect in a murder investigation. That's why I gave her the perfume for happiness. Okay. Her natural aroma of unhappiness must have been very strong. I guess the closest thing to an incidentally gay character that wasn't played for too much of a joke was that I've seen. I mean, there's tens of thousands of anime and games that I haven't played. Probably Naoto in Persona 4, but she wasn't gay. She wasn't even really transgender, right? She just presented as male. As the game went on, like, they were pushing her feminine traits more and more ever since the reveal, which I thought was a little bit eyebrow raising. But it was at least like part of the story. Because Kanji in that game was actually, they almost started to talk about whether or not he was gay, but they kind of like shoved it under the rug at the last minute at the end of his story. Both characters were like, we're almost going to talk about this, but right when you think it's about to get deep, we're going to stop. We're going to move on to the next character. Sorry. Don't just make something up. Okay, so he doesn't recognize Godot. I don't think he has any other dialogue for characters I can present to him anyway. Hard to imagine, but I was an apprentice for 5 years in La Gay Paris. Yeah, and I wasn't sure if that was the way it was localized. Like, her whole nightmare dungeon was all about, like, biology, it felt like, and being in the wrong body. I thought they were doing, like, a transgender body horror thing with Naoto. Maybe that was me just, like, imparting my own desire for the story onto the events of the game. But both that and Kanji, it felt like they wanted to talk about it, but they couldn't, maybe? Or they weren't able to go that far with it. With the game made, when was Persona 4? Like 2010 or something? Okay, nothing new from Armstrong. Oh, because I mentioned Maggie, I got new dialogue. Here we go. Maggie took the coffee over to the victim. Did anything happen? Anything at all between Maggie and the victim that could be relevant? Tell us anything you know. Oh, Psyche Lock. Triple lock, damn. No way, what are we gonna do, Nick? What the? The bag of time was gone. Has it been gone this whole time? Oh, I didn't even notice. Clever. Interesting. That's a cool little twist. Can I confirm something with you again? The table where the victim was sitting. Was anyone else sitting there? old man spends all his time in the park? It's called Vitamin Square. Okay. And Kanji's kind of in a position of being like 80% confirmed through subtext to be gay, but like it never actually is fully realized that way in the story of Persona 4, to my recollection at least. Like he never like gets a boyfriend or something. He still gets teased for it after his events in the game, and they just kind of leave it behind after that. Crouchy looking grandpa throwing seeds at the pigeons. He's not throwing seeds for them, he's throwing seeds at them. Wow, this guy is a Phoenix Wright character. Definitely a normal American citizen. I mean, he could be Japanese American, let's be fair. What if his name is like, you know, Bob Johnson or something? Dressing up in public. I don't know any Maggie Bird. Yes, you do. Maggie, the waitress at Tribulations. And then just a young girl revealing herself like that. Okay, so maybe it is supposed to be a maid cafe. There are those. Is he eating, what's that gross? The fermented. It's on the tip of my tongue. Whatever happened to the old Bushido values of Japan, like honor and modesty? Nato, that's it, thank you. You lack any sense of grace. The garbage they serve in there is not food. Where's the sushi, the tempura, the rice? Tribulations a French restaurant, sir. Where do you think we are, boy? In Paris? I want real food. Yeah, where do you think we are, old man? This is America. Don't catch me slipping now. Yeah, okay, it's definitely a maid cafe, got it. Are you scaring beans? Okay. Must be a regular. If he hates it so much, why does he keep going? Are you a regular at that restaurant, sir? If you dislike it so much, why do you keep going there? So if it is like Oni scaring beans, maybe that's why they're like really stretching with him attacking pigeons with it. But there are pigeons in the picture, so... Do French restaurants in Japan have, like, over-the-top maid costumes for their employees? Let's see. Do you throw this away? It's like a ninja magazine? Job listings. What does it say? Thrown away by the old man. I can't tell what that's supposed to be a picture of on the front there. You still have sandboxes that you wouldn't believe. Finding iron filings in the sand with a magnet was my favorite thing to do. It was my ambition to collect every single shred of iron in the sandbox. Do you want all my iron filings? No. Okay. Hey look, pigeons. Pigeons are a symbol of peace? That's a dove, not a pigeon. Are doves and pigeons the same species? The dove is just a pigeon with all white feathers. That apple slide is perfect for you. It's a metal slide in well, I guess it's not the summertime. It's January. It's on this job listings thing. Okay, I don't think he's gonna respond to anything I show him, but we'll keep trying. I already had 4 pieces of dialogue for him, so he might just be done. Although we did find that sometimes you have to present stuff even after exhausting their dialogue to trigger event flags elsewhere. Still haven't found the Magatama. Mademoiselle, are you looking for a job? I guess him being French is something that could be in the localization too, right? He doesn't have like the French flag or anything else on him that clearly sells him as French, just as like a effete Japanese stereotype for a gay man. It sounded like they localized the Osakan judge as Canadian, right? Help! No spousal visas. Individual prefectures have started recognizing them in the last few months. Nice. Come back, there's anything I need to ask her later. Hey, more typing at the offices. Law offices. Mr. Armstrong's really taking a shine to her. I am going to let her work at the restaurant for a while? Okay, because of the job listings document. She jumped right on that. It is Tribune in the original? Okay, gotcha. It doesn't matter either way, I'm just curious with her out-and-out uniform and the old guy talking about their uniforms. It would be an interesting challenge that if it was a maid or hostess cafe in the original, like how would you try to change that in the English version if you're implying that this takes place in America where we don't have those? You could say it's a Hooters. Twin Peaks. Retrial's been approved. Oh, that was quick. Godot's back as prosecutor. If Becky's found guilty again, I'll make sure you get locked up for good for it. Back when she was on the police force, you were her mentor when she was a rookie, right? Alright, Gumshoe. Gossip with Maya about this later. Gumshoe has a crush on Maggie. Could you fill me in on the victim? He was a computer programmer. With a scouter. A programmer, eh? Maggie never had any contact with him before that day. She had just taken his coffee. French version, they turned it into an Italian restaurant. It's interesting. Yeah, I always try to figure out, like, when... I think one of the biggest localization challenges is if a character is supposed to be American or say things in English suddenly. Like, how do you do that? And I've usually seen that localized as French in anime and video games. Did we see that Luke Atme in the Japanese version throws in a lot of English words? So they put in the whole Zvari thing. Programmer and a first-time customer. Possible reason could Maggie have had to kill a guy like that? But a motive was still established at her trial. Could the motive have been? Oh, Mitsuru uses a lot of English? Interesting. I don't even think they localized that in Persona 3, did they? I don't remember Mitsuru having any weird quirks. I guess sometimes in localization you just drop it and be like, eh, it's not really a bit of flavor that we can or want to communicate. Like Kafka's alternating politeness levels. Maggie Bird's not a liar. She's out there, a bit off base sometimes, but she was a good cop. Contradictions in her testimony. Biggest problem with Maggie's testimony is the number of people at the table. I really like the Phoenix Wright soundtrack. It's across all 3 games so far. Everyone else in the place says the guy was alone, even the chef. And there's the CD. Guys turned that place upside down. There was no CD. Not on the table or anywhere in the whole restaurant. Sure, the guy was wearing an earpiece. It was for a portable radio in the front pocket of his hoodie. Somehow doubt that. Mr. Armstrong has got something to hide. What's that? A sports paper? Found in the magazine rack at Tribulations. Dated the same day as the murder. MC Bomber. Heard that name before. Actually seems to be thinking for once. Be nice to Gumshoe. He tries. I'm gonna borrow this paper for a bit. I'm gonna get a handwriting analysis. Oh. That's helpful. I wasn't at the trial myself, but I asked this one detective I know... Or I asked the detective I know how your defense was. Start off by saying I'm at a complete loss for words. He went about how bad you were for an hour. Wow. He said you suck so much, it seemed like you were trying to get Maggie found guilty. Fucking... Really?
Oh my god. Oh my god! Although actually it was sort of obvious.
You gotta get that. I'm shocked. Shocked. Well, not that shocked. Doesn't have anything to say about him. Does have things to say about Armstrong. Your body's full of toxins. Ugh. He gave me this bottle. The label says juniper. I'm under orders to put a few drops of it in my bath every day. Why exactly are we blaming the lawyer for a court system that finds people guilty the moment the defense has no pertinent evidence to present? Exactly. Like, oh, you've run out of stuff. I'm ready to present my verdict. 3-day time limit, guys. Come up with any sort of delaying tactic you can. The charming chef. So what is it exactly that caught your attention about the chef? It's hard to say. The guy's not even connected with the case. Find anything suspicious about the guy reported back to Gumshoe. Weird. Hey, the game's giving me a clear direction of which place to go next. What the? Who was that? A customer? She had a dark aura about her. Wednesday Addams with a head wound. God. Should have seen this coming from from like 10 miles away, right? The only thing that could have been worse would be like, the next trial takes place at a hot springs. At a totally normal American hot springs. I got distracted. Excuse me. We have a beach case. Twin tea set is $20. Maya's ordering everything for me. $45 for lunch. Our deluxe Fortify lunch set. Fish eggs. Goose liver. Yeah, so rich people eat the garbage parts of the food. My wallet doesn't print money, so you better polish off that plate. Really? The lunch special is added to the court record? That was all relevant in some way? I'm shocked. I'm actually shocked. What did Maggie said again? In the kitchen, you'll get to see all the chef's greatest secrets. Okay, so presumably I only get access to the kitchen because she became a waitress here. Sorry, Nick, I'm a waitress now. Okay, and she only has 4 bits of dialogue right now. Presumably I can get more later. First time in here too. Hey, there's our ornate jewelry box. Look at all these little bottles. Aromatherapy oils. 100 different bottles. So he makes poison too, right? Shape is different from the other bottles. Contents unknown. This is a large mirror. Clarice Armstrong's bedtime literature. Look at a collection of poems he's written. Say in your best French accent with intensity. 2 of them like actors from a film. The coffee's still undrunk. Sweet nothing's over too soon. On a sad Sunday morning. I must lie to you, I must, okay? That's a poem for you. Hey, there's the Magatama. What's it doing in here? Right there on the counter. Found in the kitchen. Oyster sauce is used in Chinese food. Knives that look sharp. What you ate is the only French dish I know the name of. This is a single screen to examine, isn't it? We've got all we can get here for now. Nothing new to say there. Still nothing new to say. Maybe there's more to examine. Lace curtains give the place a homey feel. If I were a cooking bot, I'd be perfectly content to sit underneath those curtains. Phoenix Wright's like, how do I respond to that? Alright, I think I've seen everything there is to see in here. So we'll see if I triggered any event flags in the other areas. Talk to Gumshoe real quick. Yep, looks like I did. Lab got back to me about that newspaper you gave me. Said the doodle was written by the victim, Glenn Elg. His name is a palindrome. Other than that, I don't notice anything unusual about it. MC Bomber. I get the feeling I've heard that name before. Show him the bottle first. Kind of those are real bottles too, huh? This was mixed in with all the other aromatherapy bottles, but it's not the same. It doesn't even look the same. Okay, sending it to the lab. He suspects Armstrong. I know this guy's secret. Ever had lunch at Tribulations? Yes, I have actually. To put it nicely, it was inedible. The reason that place is so empty is because of the food. The place is clean, he's got a girl like Maggie as a waitress. The real scoop on the guy, he's up to his ears in debt. There's a copy of his loan contract. About $500,000 in the red. Are we talking dollars? No, yen. If it was sterling, he'd really be in trouble. Okay. $500,000 in debt. The owner of the loan is Tender Lender. What a wonderful name. $500,000 bills. And what was the in there for? Armstrong guy would have done anything for cash. He was desperate. According to the boys of the lab, the doodles are probably made by the victim. Analyzing this kind of writing is difficult since it's done with a fiber-tipped pen. I'll vouch for it. Okay. She might be exhausted on dialogue. Nothing new in the kitchen. Here we go. Vitamin Square. The old guy's not here anymore. Scooter, huh? You leave it right in the middle of a park like this. Must have been in an accident. It's totally wrecked. Someone is just yelling. Wow. Okay, well, this is the guy whose hair we saw. Also, he's got the same accent as Maggie said the fake Phoenix Wright had, so I think this must be him. He also looks like the other guy that was at the table. Who's gonna pay for this? You got like devil teeth. I ought to beat you so hard it'll feel like yous were smooching the express train. Okay. Actually, I'm a lawyer myself. Phoenix Wright, attorney at law. You're a wise guy too, huh? Because I'm Phoenix Wright. What? Okay, so they're not going to make that a mystery. Surely that guy wasn't my phony, was he? He wasn't anything like me. Scooter added to the court record. The old guy's back. A few threats from a brat like that, and you look like a pigeon that's got seeds in its eyes. She was the strawberry? Okay. You're a regular at the restaurants. You just like it so much, why would you keep going there? Hey, sucky luck. Old guy's got something to hide, but what could it be? I don't know if I'm prepared to deal with that yet.
Take that!
I don't really have enough evidence for 3 things, right? Why are you a regular at a restaurant you dislike so much? You only have one reason to go to restaurants, to eat. I can tell you, not you nor anyone else in the world will go to the place for its food. Costs $20, but how unbelievably bad it tastes. That's the Twin Tea set. Food at Tribulations is terrible and expensive. I'm rich. I inherited money when I was a boy. I'm stinking rich. Saying you go there because you got money to burn. I've got so much cash to go for a swim in my money vault every day. You don't have money to burn. You're flat broke. How do I know that? This is the owner's contract, right? That's a scooter. Oh, I guess he was the one that wanted the job listing back. He's been looking for a job, that makes sense. Why would a rich retiree be looking for a job as a ninja, apparently? Like that breakdown face. I don't go to that restaurant for food, I just go for the Javachino. How much does a cappuccino cost there? $8. Those had better be some golden beans. Place has free newspapers to read every day. Yeah, no, there's not, because the sports paper was presented by somebody else. It's a newspaper I found behind the magazine rack of Tribune. This is the only paper there, and it's dated more than a month ago. Are you so determined to hide the truth? Think he just liked Maggie? Oh. Because he liked Maggie, right? They've been building this up the whole time. The answer to the mystery of why an old man would drink expensive coffee at a terrible restaurant is the waitress. You weren't looking at the girl's face. What a lecher. Stop saying waitress. Yeah, right. These games are rated T, I think? In the ESRB? There's one that's rated M, wow. Listen, sir. Well, tell me what your name is. Victor Kudo. Get too many in a better mood, okay. Presumably that was just an event flag for now. Now we play, they go back to every map and see which one has new stuff. No, none of them. Maybe I need to talk to Victor some more. Probably doesn't care about the scooter, right? More about the debt. I already did the Magatama. Oh, I guess I have him as a profile now. I don't have my fourth dialogue option for Maya. Maybe that's what I gotta do. Try that. Is he still feeding the pigeons? He fed me as well. I got a bunch of those seeds in my eyes. Would you mind coming with me for a while? Don't get changed. So you gotta have a transformation reaction. Stay on the slide. Is she gonna have to transform into Mia? Fuck. Of course. So it isn't something that only Phoenix can see. Well, at least he doesn't have a thing for young waitresses. They could have gone that direction, right? a shock even for me. Only person at the table. Took one sip of the Javachino. He said something like, "Arg!" and then he collapsed. Like the lengths they went to get both characters in the maid uniform, right? At this point, I wouldn't be shocked if they somehow got Pearl to work there too. Is there a term for artists that don't create lewds of their own material, but like create situations in their material that are like lewd bait for like doujinshi artists? London's in England, not France. France is wonderful. Like, what sort of situation can we get in that gets one of our dead characters in a maid uniform, right? Like, you have to wonder, like, what's the creative scaffolding for a case like this? Is that how they got to this point? Or they're like, we want to get Mia in a maid uniform. What sort of case do we need to have to force that to happen? Careful of that chef. The man's an ex-con. Now we're getting relevant details. He steals things from his customers. Gloves, handkerchiefs? Oh. Stole the Magatama earlier. Kleptomaniac? He was arrested for it once. He was there when it happened. I love how Gumshoe doesn't know that. Tell you a haiku. Victor's note. Convicted before, a wicked man or woman, repeat offender, Victor Kudo. Okay. Thanks, Mia. So, okay, when she channels Mia, it's literally Mia, right? Like, literally, dead Mia comes from the spirit world and temporarily takes over the entire body and, like, transmogrifies the body of Maya. It's not like she's, like, getting, like, Ouija board, you know, psychic medium style inspirations of things that Mia might say. That's, like, actually Mia. As a kind of a zombie ghost. I can't believe Maya called me for something like this. Okay, just making sure I understand. It's becoming more clear as the games progress and they use her for more specific events like that last one. The crane style. Mainstream manga artists got their certain doujin? Oh, I didn't know that. I guess that's not an exclusively it's not an exclusively Japanese thing. Like, I want to say one of the artists for Steven Universe does a lot of lewds of characters she was involved with. Mr. Armstrong did Psyche Locker 3, didn't he? Oh, I thought doujin was always porn. I thought doujin just meant hentai but arranged in a comic book style story. rather than like a single panel. Indie stuff. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. So it's like fanfic, but in the same way that fanfic... Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be based on a known property, which fanfic necessarily does.
Take that!
It's fanfic trends erotic, even though it doesn't necessarily have to be. I'll confess everything, just don't hurt me. Well, that was a new world record. There's a lottery ticket. Man who died here had a lottery ticket for $500,000. $500,000? That's exactly the amount that he needed to pay. And after the incident, the ticket disappeared. This is the motive the prosecution gave for Maggie. Poisoned the man to get the $500,000 lottery ticket. Well, I mean, did she cash it in? Because if she did, then that's pretty good evidence. But if she didn't, this should be a known thing. Okay. I'm trying to hide this information about the lottery ticket from me. I want to know the reason why. The winning ticket was stolen by this person. Oh, golly, I mean, I have no idea. It's gotta be a profile, right? Victor's the only other person that was in there as far as I know. Well, okay. It's not Maya, it's not Mia, it's not Godot, it's not Gumshoe, it's not Maggie because she's the one who was accused, it's not Glenn because he's the one that had it, it's not Victor because he wasn't there, it has to be him because he's the one that needs the $500,000 to pay his debt off. He's probably going to ask me to present the debt thing next. It's a very high probability it was you. It's a pretty good reaction, breakdown reaction. Guided Excel, sorry, I gotta start making Sonic the Hedgehog hentai. Something not to Google, got it. I am not mask to mask. I'm not the kind of person who steals the property of others. Proof that you have stolen from others in the past. Victor's note suggesting that you did.
Take that!
I adore poems. Please read it and put some feeling into it. Convicted before, a wicked man or woman. Repeat offender. You've been arrested for stealing from your customers before, haven't you? I like his evil eyes there. Is he like snapping his fingers behind the psyche lock? Oh, he's pulling petals off the rose on his lapel, I see. You deny it? I want to see incontestable proof that I've ever stolen from one of my customers. Well, you stole my shit from me, dude.
Take that!
Found this in your kitchen. My hand slips out. I cannot stop it. You've stolen handkerchiefs, gloves, and other things, right? Why would I steal it? I have no need for such money. That one's easy.
Take that!
As much as the like flavor of the Magatama thing is silly to me, I like these sequences because I'm glad you get to do evidence presenting outside of the courtroom. Otherwise, it makes the investigation phase of the game a little boring because it's pretty much just like spot the event flag. You have a loan to the tune of $500,000. What do you have to say for yourself now? So the victim had a winning lottery ticket of $500,000. How'd you know he had something like that in the first place? The man was listening to a radio with his earpiece. The winning number was announced on the news. All of a sudden he exploded. Yes, $500,000. He had all of his tickets spread out on a table. Did you put the poison in his coffee? No, no, no. No, you naughty man. Help myself to one of his tickets. Maggie was arrested because of you. Of the rapid removing of the petals. You took the wrong ticket, presumably? Hey, it's Mr. Godot! This is the worst coffee I've ever tasted. This has the best character theme song in the series. Yeah, the wrong ticket. Mr. Armstrong made off with a winning ticket's pretty neighbor. The ticket he took was worthless. He did win something, $1. What happened to the winning ticket then? I don't like spoiling myself by watching trailers, so let's just wait and see how the movie turns out tomorrow, won't we? Or, you know, you're the prosecution, so you can turn over relevant evidence to the defense to prepare for it. Victor's note thrown into the trash. Thanks, game. I appreciate you tossing completely irrelevant evidence. Yes, please. Save the game. I mentioned last episode that I've heard that theme before. I know there's the meme where you play that song alongside the sound of rain and the sound of a fire crackling, this study too. I read about that like almost 10 years ago now. Detective Gumshoe. You better square this case away. Got it, pal? Maggie's innocent, you hear? Oh, hey, by the way, so there's a weird YouTube transcoding bug with the previous episode of Phoenix Wright. It was only occurring for people on their PCs and not on mobile. I tried reporting it to YouTube, but it's a black hole. But just confirming that no one's noticing any like audio desync issues today. The sounds of the game seem to sync up just fine with the game audio. Or with the game video, I should say. If you're listening for it, it should be most noticeable on objections and take that, so maybe when those come up I'll ask again. I haven't had the issue reported for any other videos, but I'll be really interested to see if it happens again with another Phoenix Wright video when this goes up tomorrow morning. Okay, thanks, Revenant. It definitely seemed to be a YouTube issue, because it wasn't on the Twitch VOD, it's not on my local copy, and it wasn't occurring for anyone on mobile, but it was occurring on PC. Why it happened on that particular VOD, even after it was uploaded twice, was pretty bizarre. Thanks, Uber. I appreciate it. If anyone detects another one, to test it, if you do notice an audio desync, try watching it again on mobile and see if it goes away. I'll try to add more to my case to report to YouTube. Not too much in that opening sequence there. We're doing the retrial. Gumshoe wants me to defend her, because he's got a crush on her. I do like that they went with Godot. It seems like it's hard to replace Edgeworth, and they've made someone who's pretty different from Edgeworth. It still comes across as formidable. Whenever I addressed you in the previous trial, your response was, "You's talking to me?" It was a little intimidating. That wasn't me, that was the phony Phoenix. Although we haven't, like, taken further steps to investigate that, that seems like a really serious problem. That someone, like, penetrated the court system. So we'll just have another trial now, it's fine, no problem. Your opening statement, please. I wasn't questioning whether you're a Phoenix Wright or not, I was questioning whether you studied law or not, damn. That's what I intend to find out. Behind that mask is a man who really hates me for some reason or another, so presumably he's a known character from a prior game. Or a character from Phoenix Wright's history that wasn't actually explored in prior games. I won't stand for irrelevant testimony during this trial. Nor will I stand for a simple repetition of the evidence presented in the last trial. Interesting. I shouldn't be repeating anything. Is it going to be... It's Gumshoe! Establish the facts of the case. Occupation, Dick Gumshoe. Other way around. I mean, that's also true. Okay, any initial investigation set up with another case now, because we didn't want to make art for the other character. They did make art for the other judge, the Canadian judge, though, so I gotta give them some credit. Outline the basic facts of the case. Glenn L., a professional programmer on the payroll of Blue Screens Incorporated. This is the autopsy report. Potassium cyanide poisoning. Time of death between 1:30 and 2:30 p.m. Victim was sitting here. Poisoned coffee was brought to him by the waitress. But her recollection was that the coffee was poisoned at the table with the other person. Victim died from poisoning almost immediately after he took a sip of the coffee. Two other people in the restaurant, Mr. Jean Armstrong, regular by the name of Victor Kudo. Seems to be a very straightforward case to me. X is the victim's seat. Okay. Nail the defendant's coffin shut with your own two hands. When the incident took place, the victim was alone at his table. I understand the guy, Glenn Elg, was listening to the radio at the time. Traces of poison were found in the coffee cup. We found was potassium cyanide. Stuff really packs a punch. Looks like Miss Bird might have had some kind of motive. No, don't say that. Using the dark aromatic depths of coffee to conceal the poison. Classy lady! No intimidation tricks this time around. That wasn't me! Takudo and Monko.
Hold it!
I stop you for just a minute. He's so desperate for that to be true. He's like, did I say something that contradicts the evidence? Testimony doesn't match the testimony given by Miss Bird. She claimed there was another man at the victim's table.
Objection!
So this series does dramatic irony where it will like show you a picture of what a character says they saw, and like the player obviously knows who that silhouette is. It happened in the prior case too, where you could see Luke Admy's silhouette pretty clearly. I wonder if that's the developer's way to like give you a hint as the direction you should be taking to like kind of simulate Phoenix Wright's intuition or something. It doesn't happen in every case though. It's interesting. Like this one, whenever they show us the other guy at the table, it's obviously the phony Phoenix Wright, right? I guess it could be they could be misleading you too. Let's see. Chef and Victor's testimony say there was no one else at the table. Press harder. Perhaps review of the victim's table is obscured in some way. That argument is as weak as the coffee at Tribulations. Damn, that's a burn. And here, possession of a ticket. One-way ticket to Guiltyville. Population the defendant. Well, he's still been standing behind the partition, though. Photograph taken from near the entrance of the kitchen. This scene is witnessed by the chef. Moments after the poisoning took place. Something's not right about that, though. Yeah. He's looking out from the kitchen, and the guy could still be standing behind the partition. How could anyone have overlooked a second person at the table? Easily. They're standing behind the partition. The guy, Glenn Elg, was listening to the radio at the time. He had a portable radio in his chest pocket. Wait, I just want to make something clear about that picture. Okay, so this is a photo they took after the place, after the crime. And an earpiece. Always press harder. Yeah, that's what I was wondering too, Robin. I'm guessing that the police just took some pictures and then didn't question the partition at all. That'll be something for the defense attorney to pick up on. After all, he's got to prolong the trial for as long as possible. One step closer to the middle of nowhere. Traces of poison were found in the coffee cup. Found on the coffee cup and nowhere else? Is the poison a liquid or a powder? It's a powdery substance. Could have been in anything that was on the table. Sugar,
Objection.
salt, pepper. Do you put salt and pepper in your coffee tray? You drink this coffee black with no sugar. Press harder. You absolutely certain the victim even drank any of his coffee? According to this file, the poison was found in the victim's coffee cup. Proof is there that the victim ever drank any of it. You're right.
Objection!
The last objection was for the detective there. I feel like people in this series are like Elwoods. I use courtroom language in everyday conversation. I object. That piece of evidence. That piece. Whoa! That's great. Should I be grateful this coffee's only hot enough to give me first-degree burns? This is the victim's coffee cup. It's clearly a coffee stain on the lip of the rim. Conclusive proof that the victim did drink the poisoned coffee that was in this cup. The speed gulp there was pretty great. The only prints on the cup are the victims and the defendants. Okay. Coffee contained potassium cyanide and covered in the victim and Maggie's fingerprints.
Hold it!
Stuff really packs a punch. Excuse me. Eat too much in your history. How much is too much? 0.2 grams. It's 50% of the lethal dose. Uh-oh, I shouldn't have had seconds. You know when you swab your ears for earwax? About that much. Such a small amount of poison could have been concealed anywhere.
Hold it!
Some kind of motive.
Objection!
I thought he was going to object to him for calls for speculation, but check out a bad cup of coffee, you can always get another. Huh? I don't get it. We can always get another witness on the stand if we have to chuck you out. Stick to the facts. You did get him for speculation. She said she wanted to steal a lottery ticket. How is she so quick to get the poison, though? That never comes up. Where does Maggie Bird get access to potassium cyanide that she has, like, on her person at the ready for when someone happens to yell out that they have a winning lottery ticket? Press harder. Here in my hand, the very ticket in question. One of the police officers found it when she was conducting a search of the defendant. And that's something I should know, but it's fine. It's more dramatic if we discover it during the trial. I better keep an eye on the ticket the way the judge's voice is quivering. Oh, it was presented to the court in the previous trial. Like, I don't even get, like, the documents from the previous trial. feels heavier now somehow. $500,000, you say? Facts of this case seem overwhelmingly clear. The defendant had ample opportunity to commit the crime of which she was charged, though still a very big question. How did she get access to the poison? How was she readily able to use it? No, they didn't. That's just... you gotta give some passes to these games, and to games like this, like... even to courtroom dramas, like... it's really hard for you to write a drama that doesn't have, like, surprise reveals and things like that, so having it come out in court is more exciting than there being a boring discovery phase where they just submit like 6 pieces of evidence to you. That's basically what just happened here, right? We got, what, the photo, the coffee cup, the lottery ticket, all back to back. For that sum of money, even I might be tempted to defend this. No, he says, wrap up this repeat performance. I thought the other prosecutor actually did the first case. More evidence against Maggie. This is the apron she was wearing. Stain is blood? No, it's probably ketchup. It's a dementia dream the judge is having from his nursing home. Coffee stain isn't the most interesting thing about this apron. The pockets. Potassium cyanide. Oh, she did mention somebody had planted poison on her. What? Maybe that would explain the blood stain. Blood stain? Blood-colored stain that's smeared all over the apron. That's ridiculous. No one told me anything about a blood stain. What? Could the stain really be blood? It's just ketchup. Okay. So got some on her apron while taking some of their breakfast that day. That's not going to be important, right? Pull a stunt like that again and I'll have you drink 17 cups of ketchup. The motive, opportunity, and the supporting evidence have all been clearly established. Please continue with your testimony. Describe for the court the crime scene and the findings of your investigation there. He looks so bummed. Crime was reported at 2:25 p.m. by a kind of scary old man. Poor Maggie had passed out from the shock. It must have been real tough for her. The victim didn't have any identification on him. Figured out who he was pretty quick, and then the investigation went smoothly. Maggie was searched. We found the lottery ticket and the bottle of poison. Nothing else missing from the crime scene. Last chance to convince the court you're a real lawyer.
Hold it!
Scary old man, Victor Kudo. Officers were dispatched right after the report came in, but the old guy still made a fuss. What took you so long? He hurled abuse at them and seeds. was nothing. I caught each one with my teeth. What? We did run into the doppelganger, yeah. Only very briefly, though, and we haven't taken any steps to, like, further identify him or follow up on him. He has a very thick, aggressive New Jersey accent. Yeah, right? Found the bottle of poison on an unconscious girl and just assumed she had it all along?
Hold it!
How long was the defendant unconscious for? Rude, Gumshoe. Rude. Oh, that. Save the romantics for your own time. Like, it's romantic to search and feel up a unconscious girl. But okay.
Hold it!
Saying it was stolen then? Victim didn't have a driver's license or even a credit card on him. All he had was 58 cents in his wallet. Yeah, something's really suspicious about Glenn Elg. Palindromic computer programmer guy with a DBZ scouter. The victim sounds like a thoroughly miserable young man.
Hold it!
Wait a sec. Paraphrase what you just testified to this court. The victim didn't have any form of ID on him. It's basically what you said, yes? There was a prescription bag on the victim's table along with the lottery ticket. Huh. Got the victim's name from the medical records of the doc who prescribed the meds. Are we sure, though? That's extremely suspicious. What if he had someone else's medicine? You've done something else to confirm his identity, right? The bag we found was empty. Entering an empty paper bag as evidence? Desperate, are you? Found the lottery ticket in the bottle of poison.
Hold it!
Is it possible someone planted the evidence in Maggie's pockets?
Objection!
Keep up this crazy testimony, detective, and those shoes will end up down your throat. Then you have no evidence to support your theory. Nothing else missing from the crime scene.
Hold it!
What about the prescription bottle? It's true that those two items are accounted for. Wasn't there another lottery ticket that was stolen that day? The chef took one. He won a whole $1 with it. What a lucky guy, huh? They're just gonna let him get away with it? Our only hope is they were so dumb they missed something obvious. Be the dumbest you've ever been. You try presenting the bag, I guess. Nothing else was missing from the crime scene. Yeah, but not this was, right? One small contradiction. Just getting all anxious just waiting, so hurry up, will you? You testified nothing else was missing. However, the prescription bag you mentioned was empty. Did the officers recover the medicine from the scene of the crime? They did not. The victim was given a prescription right before going to Tribune. Where then did the medicine disappear to? You are too cool, pal. That's goofy. Witness, why do you always overlook such vital pieces of evidence? Give you something easy to press on at the beginning of the trial? The victim was killed by poison. The victim's medicine mysteriously disappeared. The victim's own prescription could have been the lethal poison itself. So, I'm hoping it's just a weird oversight that the only thing that they've said identifies the victim is the prescription bag and the name on it. Because I guess they would have thrown in like, oh, and then we did dental records, or we did some other tests and found out who he was. We looked up that name and confirmed that that's the same picture that goes with him. So I really hope the victim actually is Glenn Elg and they're not going to pull some shenanigan with that. Read for the court the name of the clinic on the prescription bag, if you will. New ear. I don't think I've ever seen that word before. Otolaryngological? Otolaryngological. So laryngitis? A bitter war wound. Day before the incident, Mr. Elliot found himself in a fight. A blow to the side of the head and ruptured his eardrum. What on earth was the prescription he was given? A cream that was to be applied topically inside his ear canal, not to be ingested. What? All the things we nani at. It's mentioned in the autopsy report if you read the fine print. They found traces of the medication in the victim's left ear. Well, correctly applied some of his medication while he was at Tribune. I'm sure to believe he would have eaten his medication. Seems the medication is irrelevant to the case after all. Is it, though? Drew diligence. Push the medication issue. Yeah, why is there not any medication at the scene of the crime?
Objection!
Yeah, but there'd still be like a bottle or something, right?
Objection!
However insignificant it may seem, it's a lawyer's duty to pursue the truth.
Objection!
Mr. Godot, it's a detective, the only witness the prosecution wishes to call. Got my own witness I'd like to call, sir. It's the old man who was there in the restaurant on the day of the murder. The pigeon hater? So I am going to wrap even though we lost 15 minutes to the outage earlier. I'm going to try to get to a natural stopping point here. Oh, this seems like a good one. 10-minute recess. To finish you in 6 coffee cups. Okay, future Marstead. Let me see if it'll let me save here. Future Marstead, you just got to a recess. Your current case is you're trying to prove that Maggie Bird, the police lady from the second game, who's now a waitress, is innocent of murder. You're basically starting fresh, so there's not a lot to keep track of in your current evidence bag. Basically a brand new case. So, current suspicions, Glenn Elg might not be who he appears to be. The CD MC Bomber might not actually be a band. In fact, I think it's not a band. It's probably a data disc or something. And the earpiece is probably going to be significant later. Let you guys know what's coming up for the rest of the week here. See if I heard back from my Comcast guy, Lyle. I think I did.